Hi, I'm Frank Adornato, and thanks for tuning in. You know, as you get ready for a race, physical training that you do is important, but the food that you eat and the liquid you drink in the days before a race are equally important. And if you have a good fuel plan and you eat properly before and during a race, it'll help you get to the finish line. So I'd like to talk a little bit now about how to set up a good fuel plan. We're starting on the assumption that you're eating healthy in your day-to-day training. You're eating a proper balance of carbohydrates, protein, and healthy fats. Now, with that assumption in place, as you get to about a week before the race, here are some things you should do to tweak your diet a little bit so that your stomach feels comfortable, you have the right amount of nutrients and fluids in your body, and you're ready to race. 4 things to consider in that all-important week are, first and foremost, stick with the foods that you're used to eating. The week before an event is not the time to experiment with new foods. You're probably going to get anxious, you're going to be thinking about the race, you're going to be a little bit nervous. Putting new different foods in your stomach can only add to the possibility of stomach upset. Similarly, for the same reason, start to reduce the fat in your foods. Continue with a high amount of complex carbohydrates, moderate amount of protein, but bring the fats down. And this time, we're not concerned about the health benefits of a low-fat diet, but rather fat is digested slowly, it's emptied from the stomach slowly, and it can add to stomach upset. And as I said a moment ago, you're going to start feeling a little anxious, and you don't want to add an upset stomach to your problems. Third thing, you're probably tapering. You're probably reducing the volume and intensity of your training. So similarly, monitor your calories, eat a little bit less in the form of calories so you don't put on a couple of pounds right before the race. And lastly, hydrate. If you haven't been drinking, you really have to be drinking regularly. Lots of water, juices, non-carbonated beverages. And in conjunction with that, reduce or eliminate any alcoholic beverages at this time because alcohol tends to dehydrate as well. Okay, now that brings us up to your pre-race dinner. The night before your event, the meal you eat again should be similar foods to what you're used to eating. High carbohydrates, moderate protein, and low fat. 2 key things here: eat your meal a little early. 5:30, 6 o'clock would be a good time to have that pre-race dinner. And also, push away from the table early. Don't stuff yourself. You want to walk away comfortable, eating with a comfortable stomach. This way you can digest your food properly, you can go to bed a little bit early and sleep well on a properly digested stomach. You know, you may have seen some of the videos of marathons on TV where the night before they have a pre-race carbo loading party, and you see these long tables of athletes stuffing themselves with pasta and mounds of pasta on their plate. That's not something you should be doing. You're eating properly in the days and weeks ahead. You've got the proper number of nutrients and calories in your system. The night before should be a comfortable meal. Breakfast on race day is also very simple but very important. You want to eat your breakfast about 2 hours before the race starts, and you want to eat a meal that's between 250 and 500 calories. How much you eat is somewhat dependent upon how big of a person you are and the duration of the race. If it's a really long race, you want to eat close to 500 calories for breakfast. Now, when you get to the race site, all you want to do is sip water during your race preparation. But then, about 10-15 minutes before you start your event, take in about 100 calories. A good thing would be 1 packet of carbohydrate gel and some water. This will top off your tank so that you're ready to start the race with a full tank of calories. That's critically important if you're doing a swimming race, because obviously you can't eat or drink during the swim, so you want to know you've topped off your tank properly. Now, during the race, if it's a short race, 1 hour or less, water and sports drink are probably all you need. However, if you're racing in a longer event, over an hour, and especially if you're getting into several hours, 4 hours, or even longer than that, make sure from the very beginning you're taking in about 300 calories an hour. Simple carbohydrates that go into your system quickly, delivered to your muscles so that the nutrients get there quickly as they're needed. Your body's burning probably about 500 calories an hour during a race, but you're never going to be able to eat and digest 500 calories an hour. If you eat too much, and especially if you eat it too quickly, it'll just sit in your stomach and slosh around. So take in about 100 calories every 20 minutes, which is the ideal, 300 calories an hour, and that'll get you through the race comfortably. Of course, continue to hydrate. water, and sports drinks. Now, when you cross the finish line, post-race recovery meal is equally important to everything else you've been doing. Within an hour, as soon as possible after you finish the race, and within an hour, have a meal of about 500 calories, 4-to-1 ratio carbohydrates to protein. That 4-to-1 ratio has been shown to be the right ratio to replenish muscle glycogen. Muscle glycogen is what your body's been using for energy through the race, and you need to replace that as soon as possible. The sooner you replace it, the better it is, the faster your recovery, and the less fatigue you'll experience. And lastly, if you've had a great race and you want to celebrate, wait until dinner. Stay with the hydrating and eating properly through the day. Have that glass of wine or glass of champagne or that beer with dinner later on. Allow your body to recover and recuperate. Now, in the days and weeks before your race, that's when you should start thinking about this fuel plan. Don't wait until the last minute. Put together a fuel plan that works for you. The types of foods you eat should be those that you're comfortable with. Train with the foods you're going to eat in the pre-race days. Make sure your body is comfortable with them. You'll have a great race. You'll have a fast race. You'll have a successful finish. And you'll be happy and satisfied that you did. That's it for today. I hope you found it useful. Questions or comments, send me an email, and I look forward to seeing you in an upcoming video. Until then, you take care and train smart.